They've made millions fall in love, but their biggest secret is hidden behind the spotlight. Once the teenage boys on every magazine cover and small screen, these stars lived the dream while hiding a truth the world wasn't ready to hear. In today's video, we reveal the teen idols who came out as gay and how they changed their lives, careers, and what it means to be famous. This is the 2025 update you don't want to miss, so tune in and find out. Colton Haynes, the handsome American actor and former model, first captured the hearts of audiences with his standout roles on hit TV series like Teen Wolf and Arrow. With his clean-cut looks, natural charm, and natural charisma, he quickly rose to fame in the early 2000s, becoming one of the most beloved young stars of his generation. But behind the red carpets and magazine covers, Colton was battling a much deeper internal battle, one rooted in identity, fear, and the immense pressure to live up to Hollywood's expectations. Like many actors before him, Haynes was told to hide his sexuality to protect his image. Living under that pressure took its toll, causing years of anxiety and inner conflict. Beneath the glamour, he struggled in silence, knowing the truth could destroy everything he'd built. The harder he tried to maintain the facade, the more isolated he became. In 2016, Colton Haynes made the brave and life-changing decision to come out as gay. For fans around the world, it was both a surprise and an incredibly emotional moment. His honesty shattered long-standing stereotypes that had silenced countless LGBTQ+ actors for decades. By speaking his truth, he not only freed himself, but also gave others permission to do the same. His story has become a powerful reminder that authenticity is not a weakness, but one of the greatest strengths. Since coming out, Haynes has been open about his struggles with depression and substance abuse, shedding light on the hidden damage that secrecy and fear can do to mental health. His willingness to share these painful human experiences has made him not only a celebrity, but also a voice for empathy, resilience, and courage. Today, Colton Haynes continues to fight for honesty, healing, and visibility for the LGBTQ+ community. His journey proves that true courage comes from within, that embracing who you are, despite the risks, is the first step toward true freedom. For those who have watched society evolve over the years, his story is both a reflection of how far we have come and a reminder that authenticity still has the power to transform lives. Colton Haynes' story isn't just one of fame, it's one of transformation, hope, and the quiet but undeniable power of being your true self. Brandon Flynn first captured national attention with his breakout performance in Netflix's 13 Reasons Why, a powerful series that tackled some of the hardest conversations about youth and mental health. His portrayal was raw, real, and deeply human, instantly setting him apart as one of the most promising young actors of his generation. Practically overnight, he went from rising star to teen heartthrob, adored for his talent, sincerity, and quiet depth. But behind the fame stood a young man devoted to something far more important than celebrity: living truthfully. In 2017, Flynn made headlines when he publicly came out as gay, a bold and defining moment that resonated deeply with fans and the LGBTQ+ community. At a time when many young actors still felt pressured to stay silent, his honesty cut through the noise. Flynn's courage to live openly helped break long-standing taboos and inspired conversations about representation and authenticity across the entertainment industry. As his career grew, so did public curiosity about his personal life. His relationship with British pop star Sam Smith made headlines around the world, and his rumored connection to actor Richard Madden fueled even more speculation. Yet Flynn has always been grounded. He's made it clear that while he understands the intrigue, his focus remains on creating meaningful art, on and off screen. In recent years, Brandon Flynn has become more than just an actor. He's an advocate. Using his growing platform, he's spoken out in interviews and across social media for greater LGBTQ+ visibility and inclusion in film and television. He believes deeply in the importance of stories that reflect the real, diverse world we live in, stories that give voice to those too often left out. For older audiences who've watched Hollywood evolve, Flynn's journey captures how much has changed. Where silence once ruled, now there is honesty, strength, and pride. His life is a reminder that living authentically, even in a world full of expectations, is one of the bravest things a person can do. Brandon Flynn's commitment to truth and equality continues to leave a mark far beyond the screen, a modern voice of courage shaping the Hollywood of today. With his charisma, explosive energy, and timeless hits like Livin' La Vida Loca and She Bangs, Ricky didn't just perform, he blazed a global trail. In the 1990s and early 2000s, he brought Latin music to the international spotlight, blending rhythm, soul, and passion in a way that reshaped popular culture. He wasn't just a singer, he was a cultural force, admired for his talent, presence, and strong connection with audiences everywhere. But behind the flashy lights and charming smile, Ricky harbored a deep secret. For years, his personal life was the subject of much speculation, especially regarding his sexuality. As the world watched and wondered, Ricky remained silent, not out of fear or shame, but because he knew the timing was important. The entertainment industry was not as accepting as it is now. It took courage, patience, and self-understanding to step into his truth. That moment came in 2010, when Ricky Martin made the courageous and honest decision to come out as gay. In a simple but powerful personal statement, later expanded upon in his memoir, he spoke candidly about finding peace and clarity through authenticity. "I am proud to say that I am a lucky gay man. I am very lucky to be who I am." Those words resonated around the world, not only changing his life, but inspiring millions to see themselves in his story. The response was extraordinary. Fans, artists, and supporters across generations have praised his honesty, calling it a landmark moment for LGBTQ+ visibility, especially in the Latinx community, where such conversations are often avoided. Ricky's courage broke the silence and created space for others to embrace their truth without fear. Since coming out, Martin has become a pop superstar. He is a dedicated advocate for equality, human rights, and child welfare, using his fame for the greater good through the Ricky Martin Foundation and beyond. As a proud father of 4, Ricky continues to fight for compassion, justice, and love in everything he does. Today, Ricky Martin is not only a musical icon, but also a symbol of strength, integrity, and self-respect. His story is a reminder that being authentic is not only liberating, it's life-changing. For himself, for his fans, and for a world still learning that being authentic is the truest form of freedom. Widely recognized for his memorable performances on The Flash and The Vampire Diaries, Cosnett has captivated audiences with his understated charm, emotional depth, and graceful storytelling. His calm on-screen demeanor has earned him not only a worldwide following, but also respect as an actor who brings sincerity and heart to every role. But in early 2020, Rick Cosnett made headlines, not for a new project, but for something much more personal and powerful. In a heartfelt Instagram video, he came out as gay. There were no special effects, no elaborate setup, just Rick speaking softly and honestly to the camera. He shared a truth he had been quietly carrying for years, and in doing so, he reminded the world that true courage doesn't always come out loud. Sometimes it just comes out in a whisper. For fans, especially those who have followed Hollywood's long and complicated relationship with LGBTQ plus identity. It was a remarkable moment of grace and vulnerability. His honesty touched audiences of all ages. The response was overwhelming. Love, pride, and support poured in from friends, colleagues, and fans across the globe. It wasn't just a recognition. It was a reflection of how far the world has come in learning to embrace honesty with empathy rather than judgment. In an industry that often pressures stars to conform, Cosnett's choice to live openly was more than a personal revelation. It was a quiet act of defiance, a declaration that authenticity is always more important than appearance. For those still struggling to be seen or accepted, his openness became a gentle but powerful reminder that self-acceptance can be life-changing. Rick's decision to share his truth resonates not only with young people searching for their identity, but also with older generations who have witnessed both the pain of silence and the triumph of progress. His story bridges those experiences, proving that honesty has no age limit, and that visibility can be healing not just for individuals, but for entire communities. Rick Cosnett continues to build his career on thoughtfulness, integrity, and compassion. He uses his platform to advocate for acceptance, mental health, and kindness, not as a loud activist, but as a man of character. In a world that demands that people be constrained, Rick reminds us of a timeless truth. The greatest strength lies in accepting yourself for who you are. Jaden Smith, son of Hollywood power couple Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, rose to fame early on with his impressive role in the 2010 remake of The Karate Kid. At just 12 years old, he impressed audiences with his talent, charisma, and maturity. But as he entered adulthood, Jaden took a different path from many other child stars, choosing not only acting and composing music, but also becoming a bold and often unconventional figure in modern entertainment. Known for his daring fashion sense, Jaden regularly challenges traditional notions of how men should dress and present themselves. From wearing dresses on the red carpet to launching a genderless clothing line, he has pushed boundaries in ways that have both been admired and controversial. Rather than following trends, he has made it clear that self-expression and authenticity are more important than public approval. In 2018, Jaden made headlines when he called rapper Tyler, the Creator, his boyfriend during a concert. While neither Jaden nor Tyler publicly could confirm the relationship, the moment was seen by many as a subtle acknowledgement of Jaden's possible bisexuality, or at least his openness to different forms of love. Importantly, Jaden has never stuck to a fixed label for his identity, instead choosing to live with fluidity and authenticity. For many young people, this attitude reflects a growing shift in how identity is viewed today. But for older audiences, it can feel foreign or even confusing. That's why Jaden's journey is so significant. It reveals the changes in ideas about gender, sexuality, and self-expression in recent decades. His willingness to challenge norms and be unabashedly true to himself has made him a role model for a generation learning to value authenticity over tradition. Ultimately, Jaden Smith's story is about more than fashion or fame. It's about the power of being authentic. His life encourages deeper conversations about acceptance, respect, and the freedom to be yourself without shame. While some of his choices may be different from what previous generations expected, his message transcends all age groups, that empathy and understanding are essential values, regardless of the era. Neil Patrick Harris, a name that has captivated audiences for generations, first captured audiences' hearts as a brilliant teen prodigy on Doogie Howser, MD, and then cemented his place in television history as the quick-witted and charismatic Barney Stinson on How I Met Your Mother. With a career spanning television, film, and stage, Harris has proven himself to be one of the most versatile and respected artists of our time. However, his success was defined not only by his talent, but also by his honesty. In 2006, at a time when many public figures still felt forced to hide parts of themselves, Harris made the incredibly personal and courageous decision to come out as gay. His announcement was more than just entertainment news. It was a milestone in the cultural conversation about honesty and acceptance. By living openly, he has broken down barriers that have long held back LGBTQ+ actors, becoming a beacon of hope for fans who yearn to see someone like themselves authentically represented on screen. Instead of shying away from the spotlight, Harris has embraced it, not for ego, but for purpose. He has used his platform to speak out for equality, inclusion, and understanding, proving that what truly defines a person is not their sexual orientation, but their integrity, talent, and heart. His honesty has helped to erase stereotypes in an industry that often prefers silence to the truth. In 2014, Harris married his longtime partner, actor and chef David Burtka, in a beautiful and intimate ceremony attended by family and friends. Together, they built a home filled with laughter, warmth, and unwavering love, raising twins Gideon and Harper with the same compassion and humor that has long defined Harris. Their openness about their family life, at once charming and intimate, is a heartfelt reminder that love, in its purest form, is universal. Even as Harris continues to shine in the entertainment industry, he remains committed to using his voice for good. Whether it's fighting for LGBTQ+ rights, supporting the arts, or simply sharing a moment of kindness, he embodies a rare combination of confidence and humility. Neil Patrick Harris' story is one of courage, joy, and unwavering integrity. In a world still learning to accept differences, he is living proof that honesty and sincerity are not only acts of courage, but also acts of love. His life and work remind us that when you live without regrets, you inspire others to do the same. Matt Dallas captured the hearts of audiences everywhere with his breakout role as the mysterious and charming Kyle on the sci-fi series Kyle XY, a TV series that debuted in the mid-2000s and quickly garnered a loyal fan base. His poise, strength, and natural charisma helped him stand out in a crowded TV landscape, proving that subtlety and sincerity can make a lasting impression just as much as a dramatic performance. But beyond the spotlight, Dallas's story has a deeper meaning, one rooted in love, family, and quiet strength. In 2015, he made headlines not for a new film or role, but for a personal milestone that resonated far beyond Hollywood. He married musician Blue Hamilton, marking a beautiful and iconic moment in LGBTQ+ representation. The following year, the couple adopted Crow, creating a family built on a foundation of caring, will, and deep affection. Their decision to adopt, and their openness in sharing their parenting journey, gave the world a fresh perspective on what truly defines family. As same-sex parents going through the adoption process, they broke barriers simply by living authentically and loving openly. Dallas and Hamilton never sought fame in their personal lives, but their sincerity and warmth naturally drew admiration. Their story reminds us that the foundation of family is not defined by convention, but by love, structure, and commitment. Over the years, they have become quiet but powerful advocates for acceptance and equality. Without grand speeches or political platforms, they have demonstrated by example that ordinary lives can inspire extraordinary change. By choosing to live authentically, Matt and Blue have become role models not only for the LGBTQ+ community, but for anyone who believes in empathy and inclusion. For older generations who have witnessed decades of societal transformation, the Dallas Hamilton family represents both progress and possibility, a reflection of how far society has come and how far it can go. In an age where the idea of family continues to evolve, Matt Dallas is a gentle reminder of a timeless truth. What matters is not what a family looks like, but how much love it has for one another. George Michael, the unforgettable voice behind Wham and one of pop music's most enduring icons, remains one of the most beloved and best-selling artists of all time. With timeless hits like Careless Whisper, Faith and Father Figure, Michael not only defined the music of the 1980s and 1990s, but also helped shape the heart of modern pop. His soulful voice, natural artistry, and unparalleled creativity made him a timeless star. On stage, his charismatic presence was as powerful as his voice, captivating millions around the world and cementing his place in music history. For many years, however, his personal life, particularly his sexuality, was a topic that Michael chose not to discuss publicly until 1998. That year, after a highly publicized incident that thrust him into the media spotlight, he decided to come out and publicly come out as gay. Although the tabloids sensationalized the event, his openness became a groundbreaking moment for both the entertainment world and the LGBTQ+ community. Rather than retreat or apologize, Michael boldly reaffirmed his story, choosing to live his life openly, proudly, and without compromise. For many fans, especially those who had followed his journey from Wham to solo superstardom, his honesty only added to their admiration. His courage sparked important conversations about sexuality in the music industry at a time when few male artists were willing to be true to themselves. George Michael didn't just break records, he broke barriers. In the years that followed, he balanced his fame with incredible compassion and quiet generosity. He became a fierce advocate for human rights, LGBTQ+ equality, and HIV/AIDS awareness, often donating anonymously to causes that reflected his deep empathy. Many of these charitable efforts only became known posthumously, revealing a man whose kindness was as profound as his talent. When George Michael died in 2016, the world lost not just a musical legend, but also an icon of honesty, resilience, and heart. His music continues to resonate, not just because of his unforgettable melodies, but also because of the honesty and vulnerability woven into his lyrics. For those who have lived through pop culture revolutions and social change, George Michael's journey remains a timeless reminder of what it means to be authentic. His story is proof that truth, courage, and compassion can leave a legacy that resonates long after the final note has been played. Lance Bass, best known as one of the breakout stars of the 1990s boy band NSYNC, captured the hearts of millions with his smooth vocals, all-American charm, and magnetic presence. As the group dominated the charts and radio, Lance became a household name, a teen idol who defined the pop era and the boy band craze. But behind the fame and glitter, Bass was quietly searching for a private truth he wasn't ready to share with the world. In 2006, a time when open conversations about sexuality were still rare in mainstream entertainment, Lance Bass made a bold, life-changing decision. He came out as gay. It was a moment that shook Hollywood and beyond. His honesty broke down long-standing barriers in the music industry and gave visibility to countless LGBTQ+ people who grew up admiring pop stars but rarely saw themselves represented. Instead of retreating from the spotlight, Bass embraced it. He turned his fame into a force for good, becoming a passionate advocate for LGBTQ+ rights and equality. His courage deeply impressed fans, especially those who grew up with him, who now saw not just a beloved artist, but a man who lived his true self with pride and integrity. In 2014, Lance took another significant step forward when he married actor and visual artist Michael Turchin, becoming one of the first same-sex couples to legally marry in California after the state legalized same-sex marriage. Their relationship, based on love, humor, and mutual respect, has since become a celebrated symbol of presence and hope, reminding the world that love, in all its forms, is worthy of celebration. Beyond his personal life, Bass continues to lend his voice and influence to meaningful causes. From supporting mental health awareness and youth empowerment to fighting for equal rights, he has proven that true success isn't measured by fame alone, but by the positive impact you leave behind. For those who remember the early days of NSYNC, witnessing Lance's transformation from pop idol to courageous activist is both powerful and deeply inspiring. His journey is a story of courage, authenticity, and growth. A story that reminds us all that being true to yourself is not only an act of self-love, but also an invitation for others to do the same. Lance Bass's story proves that even in the glamorous world of celebrity, authenticity always wins. And the greatest harmony comes from living honestly, proudly, and fearlessly. Jonathan Knight, one of the beloved members of the legendary 1980s boy band New Kids on the Block, captured America's heart with his smooth vocals, quiet confidence, and boy-next-door charm. Alongside his bandmates, Knight helped define the soundtrack of a generation, a time when fame came wrapped in strict, unspoken rules about image and identity. Behind the spotlight, though, Jonathan carried a truth that he chose to keep private for many years. A choice that made sense in an era far less open than today. It wasn't until 2011, when a former partner publicly revealed his sexuality, that Knight finally addressed the subject himself. But instead of reacting with anger or retreating from public life, he met the moment with grace. Calmly and sincerely, he acknowledged who he was and had always been. That quiet honesty became a defining turning point. By taking ownership of his story, he reminded the world that authenticity doesn't require drama, just courage. In the decades since his boy band days, Jonathan Knight has continued to thrive both personally and professionally. He shares a joyful, grounded life with his husband, fitness trainer and actor Harley Rodriguez, proving that love built on truth always stands the test of time. And while music will always be part of his identity, Knight has also found new purpose in creativity, starring in HGTV's Farmhouse Fixer, where his passion for design and restoration has won over a new generation of fans. His journey isn't about making headlines or reclaiming fame. It's about quiet resilience, the strength to live authentically after years of public speculation, and the peace that comes from choosing love over fear. For older audiences who lived through times when coming out carried real risk, Knight's story is especially powerful. It reflects just how far society has come, and how much grace and courage it takes to help move it forward. Jonathan Knight's story reminds us that authenticity never goes out of style. Whether on stage or on screen, he continues to prove that being true to yourself is the greatest legacy of all, and that it's never too late to live life entirely on your own terms. Mark Feehily, the soulful voice behind many of Westlife's most unforgettable ballads, rose to global fame in the late 1990s as the band's lead singer. With his rich voice, expressive delivery, and unmistakable sincerity, he helped shape the sound of a generation, giving the world timeless hits like Flying Without Wings and You Raise Me Up. Westlife became a pop powerhouse, beloved across Europe and beyond, especially by fans who loved the heartfelt lyrics and pure harmonies. But at the height of the band's success in 2005, Feehily made headlines not for a new single, but for his truth. He came out as gay, becoming one of the few male pop stars of his time to do so and still top the charts. It was a moment of extraordinary courage in a music industry that, at the time, often required a certain image to maintain mass appeal. Feehily later shared that he had known his identity since his teenage years, but kept it a secret for fear it would harm his career. When he finally came forward, it was a turning point, not just for him, but for the pop world. Rather than shying away from the spotlight, Mark Feehily rose higher than ever, embracing his authenticity with quiet strength and grace. His openness inspired fans across generations, proving that authenticity doesn't weaken admiration, but deepens it. His story shows that vulnerability can go hand in hand with success, and that courage, when met with compassion, can change perceptions far beyond the stage. Over the years, Feehily has become a vocal yet humble advocate for LGBTQ+ representation in the entertainment world. He has spoken passionately both on and off stage about the importance of inclusion, authenticity, and pride in who he is. Now a proud father and still performing with Westlife, he continues to demonstrate the integrity and emotional depth that endeared him to fans decades ago. Mark Feehily's journey has been more than just coming out. It's been a journey of self-identification, both as an artist and as a man. For those who have watched his attitude change over the years, his story is a reminder that the path to acceptance begins with truth. And in his case, that truth has only amplified his voice, making it not only beautiful, but brave. Marlon Brando, one of the most influential figures in cinema history, forged a legendary career through authentic, powerful, and emotional performances. From A Streetcar Named Desire to The Godfather, Brando didn't just act, he transformed the language of acting itself. He brought authenticity to the screen, eliminating artifice and revealing a new style of realism that would take generations of actors decades to learn. Audiences were mesmerized not only by his extraordinary talent, but also by his intense charisma. His deep eyes, his quiet strength, his unpredictable energy that brought every scene to life. In person, Brando was equally compelling, complex, outspoken, and unafraid to challenge the system. He refused to play by Hollywood's rules, choosing instead to live life on his own terms. In his later years, Brando again defied expectations by publicly admitting he was bisexual, a groundbreaking act of honesty for a leading man in such a conservative era. At a time when Hollywood valued image over truth, his revelation broke barriers and helped spark conversations about sexuality, identity, and authenticity in public life. Brando never cared about stereotypes. He didn't define himself by his sexuality or public recognition, just by his honesty. That courage added another layer to his legend, a man of contradictions who dared to live freely. Off-screen, he was a force for justice. Brando used his celebrity to fight for civil rights, stand with Native American activists, and speak out against inequality long before it was commonplace. The same integrity that shaped his performances also shaped his life, making him not only a cinematic legend, but also a man of conscience. Marlon Brando is remembered not only as one of the greatest actors of all time, but also as a fearless pioneer of truth. For those who lived through Hollywood's golden age, his story remains a testament to honesty, character, and the unshakable courage to live and act without compromise. Outro. From boy band crushes to Hollywood heartthrobs, these 10 men proved something timeless, that the most powerful thing you can ever be is yourself. Their stories remind us that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it speaks softly, in honesty, love, and quiet strength. Because when one person dares to live their truth, it gives thousands of others the courage to do the same. And that's how the world changes, not through fame, but through authenticity, compassion, and heart. Thank you for watching, and for standing with love, truth, and individuality. Your presence means more than you know. If this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe, tap the bell icon, and stay with us, because the next story might just change the way you see the world.